I just think, I mean, we're always busting on each other and stuff like that. And it's just basically the same things that we did to each other when we were kids, you know what I mean? And we keep the same friends that we had when we were kids growing up and keep in contact with them. And I mean, I think that just helps to keep you grounded and keep you
you just
normal.
hear the horror stories of other guys, not necessarily in our industry, but the Randy Mosses or what have you.
But in your industry, you don't have to look far for examples of people in your industry that lose perspective. And in particular, it seems tough to survive after wrestling. What did you think of Joni Lauer? She just melted down on Howard Stern, and she's clearly troubled in her life.
I didn't hear it. It's sad, really. You know what I mean? Because I mean, she had a great career. She had something that was different. You know.
She had something different. She
that
flushed it in the toilet.
Yeah.
And you don't get the Surreal Life up here, but I watched her on the Surreal Life interacting with Mini-Me and just thought, this is embarrassing to watch. It was one of those, I felt uncomfortable watching it. And it's a shame. But the way I look at it is, if you can keep a level head in this business, it's possible. I'm proof of it.
It's possible, but not everyone has done it, right? What do you think of, I mean, here's a guy who was right at the top, Jake the Snake Roberts, right? Jake Roberts was the biggest in the business at one time, and he was just charged with drug possession. Again, when you look at that, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's like any walk of life. I don't think it's the industry. I think in any walk of life, you're going to have screw-ups.
See, that's the easy thing to say. I'm not sure that that's true. I'm not sure that your industry is.
I mean,
I think your industry is a lot more mentally and socially risky than if you were
mentally, if you're mentally weak. But I think there's mentally weak people in any industry you look at.
Biggest star ever, Stone Cold.
Yep.
Doesn't seem to be in great emotional or mental condition.
Well, I think relationship-wise, maybe not. But you know, from a lot of people have problems with relationships, not just in this industry. But mind you, this industry is tough on relationships because you're always gone. I'm proof of that.
Explain that, because people don't know.
Well, I've been divorced once in my second marriage. So I mean, it plays a toll. But if it's a strong enough relationship, nothing can get in between.
You guys were buddies with Test as well, right?
Yes.
And Test is currently injured, had the same surgery that you had?
Yeah.
And he was fired by the WWE. What did you think when you heard that?
That was pretty cold. That was pretty cold.
I was shocked, you know, just, I think he was shocked, obviously, but it's one of those things, you don't expect it, and you know.
Yeah, you know, he's got 6 months left to recuperate.
Right. As a friend, what'd you do when you heard that? Because we're all talking about being buddies, right?
Gave him a call and, you know, just said, how you feeling? You know.
I still talk to him every week. So
you still talk to him every week?
Yeah. I live 6 minutes from him, so I mean, we're all still buddies. It's not going to change.
Is there anything you can do to, can you lobby for him to come back when the time's appropriate? He's not ready to go now.
Honestly, it would be up to him.
Yeah.
If he wants to come back, then yeah. But I don't know if he'd want to. I don't know if he needs to. You know, there's other markets open. There's Japan, there's things like that.
Right.
And I think more than anything, maybe his pride got stung a little bit, and I don't know if he would. And if he would want to, great.
And we're talking candidly about a guy who was fired by your company, and you're saying you're disappointed. And that's one of the things, for the last 7 or 8 years, that wrestling has done really well, which is open its books and say, hey, you know what, whatever happens, we're going to try to reveal it to the public, because as some have said, there's no such thing as bad publicity. It's always good for business. What was your sense on the Ric Flair, Mick Foley thing? They're backstage, right? And Rick goes to shake Mick Foley's hand. Mick doesn't want to shake his hand, and Rick punches him. Now, were you there for that, and why did that happen?
I think we were actually both in the room. I'm not sure what the I'm sure there was some sort of history there. They have a long history, and I'm not sure what the circumstances were building up to it. But you know, I saw Mick walk in, but not just thinking it was any other day in catering, you know, and heard a little.
I think it stemmed from the books, and I actually have a book out, by the way, that I penned myself.
You were on the show promoting it already once.
Anyway, I think cheap
was
plug.
a soft cover coming out?
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah, but
soft topic, soft cover.
Yeah, I think it stemmed from the books and what they said about each other in the books. I came in to catering. I was sitting there watching the TV. Mick came in, gave him a hug. Good to see you. Kept watching the TV, and then all of a sudden I hear this commotion. I turn around, and they're yelling at each other. And apparently that was the deal. Is Mick said, "Will you sign my book?" Flair put out his hand. He said, "I don't want to shake your hand," and whatever happened from there, don't know. To be honest, don't really care.
Is WWE still as willing to say, let's use that as a storyline, let's use that as an angle? Because like 7 years ago,
they'd do it.
What's that?
If they would do it, but I don't know if they would.
On that note, we go to break, having a great time with two great Canadian boys from Southern Ontario. More OTR in a moment. Sitting here with a couple